Welcome back to the Corporate Blue Room podcast, where we discuss issues concerning the economy, the corporate world at large. My name is John, and I'm your host today for today's show. To all my supporters that are out there, I want to use this medium to say thank you for your support. I'm really grateful. Without you, there would be no me. And for also those that are yet to subscribe, I also want to use this avenue to appeal to each and every one of you to please subscribe to my channel, drop a comment, like, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Because when you do this, it helps promote this channel and at the same time encourage me to do more content that I will be bringing your way in the future. And also please turn on your bell notification so that whenever I drop content, you will be the first to get it. In my last video, I discussed about the effect of the dollar, that's the US dollar, to the Nigerian currency, and how everything has tripled due to inflation. And if you have not seen that my video, I will drop a link for you to be able to check out that video. So the topic for today is, despite this hyperinflation, the rise of the dollar to the naira, and the steep fall of the economy on a day-to-day basis, the question one needs to ask himself: can an individual still save money? Whether be you an employee or a business owner, can you still save money compared to when the naira was still having a purchasing power, to now that naira is almost losing its value on a day-to-day basis? Can you still save money? Take for example, petroleum in Nigeria as of today is now selling at 568 naira, the official price, as against the 184 naira. Bag of rice as of today is at 57,000, which was against 33,000 that it was before May 29th, that a new president was sworn in and everything changed in Nigeria. So the question remains, can you still save money? I know in these difficult times, a lot of people have been eating into their savings, as major companies are finding it difficult to meet up with the expectation of the ever-demanding employees yearning for increment in salary. And also, you will not blame them, because the inflation rate of the economy is also affecting their business. That is the corporate organization. And because of this, even the increment that they are giving individuals, to a large extent, it does not commensurate to which the inflation is increasing within the country. Also look at it from the businessman point of view. Their purchasing power is dropping on a gradual basis. Something that they could purchase, say for example 500,000, that will give them a substantial amount of goods. Now they are using like almost 2 million to purchase that same amount of goods, thereby eating away into their profit. So the question is, can you actually still save money in this hyperinflation country that we are in right now? And the simple answer is absolutely yes. You cannot take away the fact that you need to save, because the benefits of saving is very, very enormous. You cannot be a salary earner or a businessman and you do not have something to fall back on in times of unforeseen circumstances. It will make no sense. You have to prepare for the rainy day. And at this junction, if you are liking my content, please use this opportunity to subscribe and like this video. So back to what I was saying. Knowing for a fact that savings, setting a sum of money aside so as to weather the storm on a very difficult time in your life or for the unforeseen future, so that it makes you stand firm. I cannot but at this junction ask a question. What are the benefits of you having a savings or having to set money aside? One of the benefits of having to save is that it helps you to plan for the long-term and your short-term goal. So when you set aside a certain amount of money, both your short-term and long-term goal, you will be able to achieve it. Remember, I also discussed in the last video that I dropped how to develop a 5-year plan. And in order to do this, you also need to have savings, because if it is a career or whatever you intend to achieve, definitely you have to commit to it by adding 1 or 2 costs. So if you have savings, it also helps you to achieve this goal that you are planning. So savings, one of the benefits of savings is that it helps you actualize your short-term and long-term. Number 2, when you have savings, it gives not only you, but you and your family that security. There will be this security that you will have if peradventure there is an unforeseen event. Take for example now, an employee who the company just woke up one morning due to this situation of the country and just decided to lay off staffs. Even if you have been laid off, to a large extent, if you already have some savings set aside, you will not feel it that bad, because it will serve as a starting point for you to organize yourself and figure out what your next step will be. Compared to somebody that does not have a backup plan, it will be very, very devastating for such person. So you cannot overlook the fact that if you have savings, one of the benefits of having to save money or set money aside is that it gives you that security for you and your family when there is that unforeseen circumstances that may occur. Number 3, it serves as a shock absorber also for you to have funds available for you to give your children that better education that you've always dreamed for them. It will be easier for you to accomplish such, because while they were still young, you were setting a certain fund aside, and when they get to a certain age, it will be easier for you to just pull out of it and give them that Ivy League education that you've always dreamt about. That's why if you hear in the corporate world, you hear trust funds. The parents even go out of their ways and put it in their wills to say, oh, my child cannot touch certain amount of money unless he accomplish, or he gets a degree in this, or he gets a BSc, or he gets to a certain level, because a certain fund has been set aside. This is all due to what? The parent having to have an ambition to say, okay, savings was very, very crucial in their life, and they had to make that plan available so their child would not have to suffer or have any cause to regret, and have a better education than they did in their own time. A man or a woman that does not save, honestly, such person is like a developer who went and built his house on top of a rock, and when the rain and wind came, and beat on this building because it was not properly rooted into the soil. This building ended up collapsing. So savings is something that is very, very crucial. No matter the circumstances, one must always have a backup plan. So be you an employee or be you a business owner, you must have a savings set aside for these three main purposes, benefit that I told you savings does. So remember I said it meets your short and long-term goal to provide that security for you and your family, and it gives your children a better education because you have the funds set aside so you can easily send them to the necessary school or the dream school you've always thought of them attending. So the question now is, how do you end up saving, irrespective of the fact that the country is where it is right now? What are the things that you need to do so that you can actualize your savings? Because you need to know the right things to invest in. You don't want to just invest in things that at the end of the day will not yield you with good returns, and you would not be lamenting on the fact that you did a bad savings. Remember, like I said, there is no amount that is too small for you to save. Even the common vulcanizer or the pepper seller, if you notice, they try as much as possible to do daily thrift. And for those of you that don't understand what daily thrift is, it simply means ajo. They do daily contribution with the roadside people that have been trusted for years that comes to collect a certain amount of money from them. And with this, they are able to achieve their short-term goal, remember. So in the ideal world, many people tend to save 20%. But I'm here to tell you that you should try as much as possible to have at least 30 to 40% of your earnings set aside so that it will enable you to achieve something realistic in the future. A famous basketballer once said, and when I mean a famous basketballer, in the words of Shaquille O'Neal, a famous NBA all-time superstar, how can one save? And this is the answer he gave in his exact words. He requested for a piece of paper and he said, let's assume this is what you have earned. The normal person will take this piece of paper and split it into half and save 50%, which is good, and spend the entire 50% remaining. But he said, after having dealings with majority of his billionaire friends, he came to realize that the wealthy, because there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy, the wealthy people will save that 50%, that first 50%. Then this remaining 50%, they will split it into two and still save this 25%. Then the remaining 25%, then you can do anything you want with it. Whatever you want to do, flex, enjoy yourself, anything you want, you do with this. But 75% should be set aside. This is the exact words of Shaquille O'Neal, and these words have resonated with me for a very long time. So in closing, please remember that learn to save in things that would have appreciative values, things that will contribute immensely in the future. Saving in cash in this current situation might not be advisable because you all know that the naira continues to plummet. Until the government is able to resolve this issue, it will not be advisable for you to save in naira. So think of things that would benefit and appreciate in value. Take, for example, real estate is one thing that you could save in. Take, for example, trust funds. Trust funds your children trust funds that you could save 10, 15, 20 years. Take advantage of all this and ensure that you are always on track, and try and listen to what is current in the news so that you know the investments you should be putting your money into, and it will secure your future to the best extent it can. Do not waste all your money now, because majority of employees do this without even thinking of tomorrow. Please cultivate the habit of saving. Save substantially so that you can help better your life and your family. My name is John, and I want to thank you once again for being on my show. Please subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. And until I see you in the next video, please remain blessed. Bye bye.